If you had $100 invested and you lost 10% one day, and then the next day you gained 10%, where are you? Actually. Hello and welcome to the Durham Talents channel. My name is Jesse Durham. For today's quick take, we're going to discuss the difference between average and actual. Let's take a imaginary scenario here. For example, let's say you had $100 invested somewhere. And again, I'm not giving investment advice here, but let's have this mental exercise. You've got $100 invested somewhere. One day, you lose 10%. So you have a 10% loss. And then let's say the next day, you have a 10% gain. Well, that's fine. You lost 10%, but then you gained 10%. It's all good. You broke even at least, right? Right? No, actually. I can do and I'm no math whiz, but I can do this math in my head, and that's why I'm using these easy numbers. So walk this out with me. If you've got $100 and you lose 10%, that's $10. So 100 minus 10, you're at $90. But then in day 2, we said that you gained 10% back. But remember where you were. See, that's 10% that you gained on $90, not the $100 that you had. So 10 more percent on 90 is another $9. So actually you didn't even break even. You're back at $99. So here are some points that I just want to point out here quickly. Number one is that just because you lose 10 and you gain 10, at a superficial level, it would seem that you break even, but when you just pull out a simple calculator or a pen and paper, that's not the case, okay? So when folks are telling you out there in the wide, conventional financial world, average this, average that, just understand that averages, the way that they are propagandized to us, are not equal to or equivalent or symbiotic to actual results. So there's a big difference between average and actual. And I've covered that here on the podcast. I'll reference an episode here for you to look at this a little more at length. But again, just pulling out pen and paper, just pulling out your simple calculator, you'll recognize very quickly, just like we did, that averages and actual results are very different. Now, point number 2 is going to be that if you lose 10% and then you gain 10%, like in our imaginary scenario, you have to start to consider now, well, how much more do I need to gain to get back just to where I was, let alone hopefully make a profit, but just to get back to where I was. Because remember, we're at $99, not at the full $100 that we started with. So now we have to do some additional earnings, we hope, to get back just to where we were. Point number 3. Point number 3 for me is going to be, what are the stipulations? What are the rules? What am I allowed to access? What kind of risk am I assuming? What kind of exposure am I going to have to the market with any kind of investment? And again, I'm not giving investment advice, but if you're making investments, just ask yourself these questions. What type of risk am I assuming via litigation or taxation or inflation, a lot of the shuns, okay, by putting my money in this investment? And I'm not saying don't invest. I'm not saying to invest. What I'm asking you to consider is what you are assuming there. That's all. Furthermore, because here on this channel, we talk about properly structured whole life policies with mutual companies. This is with a company that pays dividends. Okay, that's the ideal asset. We've also done an episode on the ideal asset, and you can check that out here. But what I'm trying to bring awareness to right here is the fact that banking takes place on investments. So owning a properly structured whole life policy is not an investment itself. It's just risk mitigation. It's owning insurance, like car insurance or home insurance. Okay. But if you're using it for the banking function, now that is going to allow you to account for the banking function for yourself. And you can use that privatized banking system for your investments for sure. And that's how you can actually exponentially increase your profits from any investing that you're doing, because your dollars are performing multiple tasks. And then the fourth point that I would like to bring up is time. And this is perhaps the most important. time. See, if we said in our scenario of investing $100 that in day one we lost 10%, and then in day two we gained 10%, not only do we notice the difference between average results, actual results, but so many people won't talk about the time that has elapsed, and folks are not giving a value to their time. Can I get day one back? No. Can I get day two back? No. Can you? No. Okay, so that time that is taking place where we're gaining here, losing there, gaining here, losing there, and maybe we're profiting, maybe we're losing, that's going up and down. That just is what it is. And again, I know we could put up a big sheet here of how the S&P 500 or whatever other index you would like to look at has performed over the past 30 years, 50 years. And you can calculate. And I would encourage you to. It's really neat to do that. To look and see what the actual versus the average results that are purported to us look like. Okay? Pull out your calculator and figure out how much you would have to earn to make up for a 20%, for a 30% loss at one point in time. But again, let me go back to that point of time here, and this is the last and maybe most important one. I can't get day one back. You can't either. I can't get day two back. You can't either. We need to put a value on our time. And with properly structured whole life policies with mutual companies that pay dividends, with those types of entities to create a privatized banking system, we know that the cash value goes up. The death benefit goes up. So these appreciating assets, day over day over day, on weekends, on holidays, during government shutdowns, fill in the blank, pandemics, fill in the blank, okay? Compound interest is taking place uninterrupted. So if you'd like to have a conversation about how to implement the infinite banking concept in your household or your business or your investing, then let's have a conversation about how you can do that. This has been a great pleasure for me. I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great day. Take care. You earn on the ideal episode, on the ideal, what do I have to grow? So long, sweetheart. There's a big difference between average and actual results, you see. I don't know if this is a Clint Eastwood voice, but it does look like a Clint Eastwood face. Do you feel lucky? Do you, punk? I'll have to work on that.